A daily dose of practical wit and wisdom with a professional educator and trainer, Amazon best-selling author, United States Marine, television and radio host, Paul G. Markle. Each episode will focus on positive and productive ways to strengthen your mindset and help you improve your relationships, career goals, and overall well-being. Please welcome your host, Paul G. Markle.
Hello and welcome back to Morning Mindset. Thank you to everyone who is now joining us for what's going to be our second week of Morning Mindset podcast. And we truly appreciate all of you out there who have joined us, who become part of this, and we hope that you enjoy the experience. Now, today we're going to talk about excuses versus reasons. Excuses are not reasons. I know you're like, come on, Paul. I know that. I'm a grown adult. But do we? America is the land of excuses. Americans live in a land of excuses. Often we find ourselves falling into that trap where we offer ourselves excuses. And we want to deal with that today because if we're looking to progress in our careers, if we're looking to advance and improve our relationships, whether they're personal relationships, family relationships, business relationships, we need to be honest with ourselves and say, am I offering a reason, a genuine, legitimate reason, or is it just an excuse? Now, quite often people will say, all right, I'll give you a great example. I didn't make it to work on time today because I hit the snooze button and I went back to sleep, but now I'm here. Is that a reason or is that an excuse? I wasn't to work on time today because I had a flat tire. I had to get out. It took me 30 minutes to change it, and now I'm here. All right. A flat tire is a reason. You hitting the snooze button and going back to sleep is not really a reason. It's an excuse. Now, excuses, do you accept excuses from your children? If you're a grown adult, if you're a mom or a dad and you have children, and your children fail to do their homework, they fail to do their chores, they fail to meet up with some type of an expectation. What do children do? Children offer you excuses. I forgot. I was tired. I got distracted, and so on and so forth. And that's fine because they're children. But how many people carry that over into their adult life? And you say, Paul, I know those people, and I want you to not be one of them. The biggest problem with excuses is not so much the excuses that we offer to others, but it's the excuses that we offer to ourselves. You come to a point in your life where you decide, I need to make a change, or I should be making a change, whether it's a career change, whether it's a lifestyle change. Maybe you decided, you know what? When I was young, I was hard and fit, and I was in good shape and all that. And 10, 15 years have slipped on by, and now I'm soft. I'm not hard anymore. Is that something that's an eventuality? As we age, when you become 30, 40, 50 years old, do you have to become soft? Do you have to be a mush ball? Or are you that way just because you've offered yourself excuses? You want to make a change in your life. You want to make an improvement in your life. But it's so easy to give yourself an excuse. The devil gets up on your shoulder. That little devil, he gets up on your shoulder and he says, you're doing okay. You're doing all right. Why work harder? Or the devil will say, you've tried to work harder. You've done things better. And no one cared. No one recognized it. You didn't get appreciated for that. So why should you even try? Do you accept excuses from other people? If you're a supervisor, if you're a boss, if you're a mom or a dad, will you accept excuses from other people? And maybe you do. Maybe that's the easy way. Sometimes we fall into a lazy trap where it's easier to allow people to offer us excuses than it is to hold them accountable for their behavior. And if you allow people to offer you excuses, that might be the quick fix. All right, okay, somebody shows up late. You're a supervisor. One of your workers shows up late. And you say, hey, what's up? Oh, yeah, and they give you some lame excuse. But you need to get the project going. You need to get the workday started. So you just accept it and you're like, okay, all right, just get over there and go to work. That's the quick fix. You accepted the excuse. They offered you the excuse and you move on. And you say, okay, great. That'll never happen again. Will that never happen again? If you allow people to give you excuses and you accept those excuses, what are you doing? You're essentially setting a pattern that it's going to keep happening over and over again. Now, I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. I know it requires discipline on your part to stop and say, no, let's go ahead and nip this in the bud right now. If you don't accept excuses from other people, why would you accept excuses from yourself? When it comes time to make a change, when it comes time to make an improvement, when it comes time to get stronger, faster, more educated, what have you, stop allowing yourself to accept excuses. Don't accept excuses from yourself. That's the worst person that you can accept excuses from. I'll give you an example. When I was a young man, I was, a teenager. I was probably, 18 years old, and I was feeling my oats and getting out on my own. And I decided that I wanted to further my martial arts education, and so I started taking classes. And it was a Taekwondo school, and you started out real low at white belt and yellow belt and blue and so forth. And the mid-level, kind of between black belt and white belt, was green belt. And I remember one of my instructors telling me, or the main instructor, talking to us about how he would lose people after they would get their green belt. And I thought, that's kind of weird, because here I am and I'm thinking, wow, those guys who, have black belts, those guys really are dedicated. They're people I would look up to, and I want to hit all those steps and get all the way up there. But the way he explained it is, he goes, people start out knowing nothing, right? You start out as a blank slate. You're a white belt. You just show up. You know nothing about nothing. If you close your mouth and pay attention, you start to learn. And eventually, you get pretty good at it. You get way better at the martial art than you ever thought you could be. And you get to this point where you're a green belt, which is kind of, about 9 months to a year, maybe a year and a half into the study, and you earn your green belt. Now you're in a position where you say to yourself, wow, I know more than I ever thought I would know. I can kick and punch and jump and do things better than I ever thought I could. But it doesn't get easier from there. It actually starts to get harder. The tests and the forms and the different maneuvers that they ask you to execute, they're not easy like they were back in the white belt and yellow belt days. Now they become harder and harder. And so what many green belts would do, as it got harder, they'd say, you know what? I'm already way better, way more skilled than I ever thought I was going to be. So I'm going to quit. Or I don't need to put myself through any more of this hardship, any more of this difficult stuff, because I'm already really good. So I don't need to learn anymore. Or what more is there for me to learn? And they drop out. They don't progress. And as I've gone throughout my life, I've seen that in different fields of endeavor, whether it was with firearms or whether it was within physical training or whatever. People get better than they thought they were ever going to be because they're no longer a beginner. And then it starts getting really hard or incrementally harder. And so the little devil gets up on their shoulder and he says, you know what? You're already pretty good. Why are you torturing yourself? Why are you trying to work harder? Why are you making things more difficult? Wouldn't it be easier just to rest where I am? And that's what excuses do. Excuses say, hey, I'm pretty good where I'm at right now. I mean, I'm not starving to death and I got a house and I got something to drive back and forth to work or I'm actually farther ahead now than I thought I was ever going to be. So I'm pretty good. Now, there may be a reason that you're not advancing. There may be a reason why you haven't reached the next level. But reasons are genuine and true and real answers. Excuses are soft, and those are the things that we offer ourselves. So the next time you are confronted by a situation where you need to make a choice, you need to ask yourself, am I allowing myself to accept excuses, or are these genuine reasons? And that's all part of the growth thing. And quite frankly, folks, you know it, I know it, we all know it. If you're a mom or a dad, you don't accept excuses from your kids, or at least you shouldn't. If you don't accept excuses from your kids, you shouldn't be making them yourself either. Excuses and reasons are not the same thing. They're not interchangeable. All right, thank you very much for joining us for today's Morning Mindset, and I look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thank you for spending time with us today. To get show notes, submit a topic request, and for more from your host, Paul G. Markle, visit morningmindsetpodcast.com. That's morningmindsetpodcast.com. Please leave a review for this podcast on your favorite podcast player. We appreciate your time and effort, and we look forward to reading your honest feedback.